What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. Hopefully, if you've been tuning in, you've been watching, and something here has helped you on your way in whatever way possible. And so we're gonna get into it. Joined by a really good guest, one of my best friends. I've been trying to give everybody flowers, even like I don't see like this anymore, but people see like this is who he is. So number one recruit, 5-star, chose to go to Clemson, became a national champion. It's kind of as a downer thing, but you were a Heisman run-up, even though I wish you would have won. Number one overall pick. That kind of came out. Number one overall pick. And then that's basically it. But joined today, good friend, now Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Welcome.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me,
I
man.
know.
Love you, bro.
Love you, bro.
Went back to high school. To my recruits.
No, I know. Look, 247, all ESPN, whatever.
Yeah.
All the accolades in there. It's definitely a lot more, but the list can get long. How you feeling?
Feel great, man. I haven't been to the upstate in a while, so it's good to be here, man. Obviously, seeing you and Mackenzie
I know.
and little Beckham.
Crazy.
So new dad over here. So man, it's just good to be back, good to visit. Honestly, even driving in, like it just feels good to feels
nostalgia.
like nostalgic, a little bit like a home away from home, just being in the upstate. It's always good.
Yeah, just got back from Europe. How was that?
Amazing. It was amazing. We were there for 10 days. We went right after the Super Bowl, so we just did some work at the Super Bowl for like 4 days,
Right.
and then went straight there. We went to Venice, Florence, and Rome, and it was incredible. Just like the history, and it's crazy because it's just the country is so old and the different cities.
Super.
It's weird being in, like in America, and you see things, and if it's from like the 1800s or even like the early 1900s, you're like, dang, that's old.
Right.
Being over there, like they won't even mention it. If it's like in the late 1800s, they're like, oh yeah, this building's from the 1800s, like it's pretty new. But because everything's like 14th, 15th century, a lot of stuff's way older than that. Like it's crazy seeing just the architecture and the culture is so much different.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool to travel to see that, just because like
That was your first time in Europe?
yeah, well, we play in London,
Oh,
but
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
really do
Right,
much
you
there. And it's like London it's different than obviously than America, but it is like isn't as big of a different culture, I would say, as
Right.
going to, like Italy or somewhere where it's a different language.
Yeah.
I think the food is just so much different. But yeah, it's like traveling is awesome just to see the different people.
Right. What was your favorite dish?
Favorite dish? We had a ravioli. I can't even tell you what was in it. It was like spinach and ricotta.
Yeah.
And something else at this one restaurant in Florence. Florence had an amazing food. That was probably my favorite city that we went to.
Yeah, it's definitely on the bucket list to get to. Like Greece is on my bucket list, Italy,
Greece, yeah, for sure.
France. So
All those, yeah,
in due time, bro.
definitely. It's a big world, so
It really
takes
is a big
time.
world, bro. I haven't. Only time I've been out of the country is honeymoon. We went to like Cancun, Mexico, stuff like that. I'm definitely trying to get overseas in due time. All right, let's get into it. So, as you guys know, like, it's conversation based, but just like let's talk about where you are. Year two in the league, which is even crazy. We just kind of we've been. I guess we know each other for 6 years now. I just became a dad, which is wild. Uncle Trevor in the
Crazy.
house. I know.
Crazy.
Marriage. We both are married now. But you're in year two in the league. You're about to be a vet, low key. You're about to be on year three.
Yes, yeah. It's weird. It flies by, man. I mean, it's crazy. Even thinking about like us, like I feel like we've seen so much of each other's like important pieces of each other's life,
Right.
like moments and chapters. Obviously, it's all important, but
Yeah.
it's crazy sitting here now. Like obviously, like you're a dad, you're married, but just I feel like we kind of met each other at like that time where
was a
life
perf-
started to change a lot.
It started to pick up.
Yeah,
Like kind of
so
because it's like you, as y'all know, you grow up. And I ain't saying like high school graduation isn't important because it is.
yeah,
Going from middle school to high school is important. But you kind of build your whole life to these like moments you dream about. You dream about going, obviously for us, going to play in college and professional careers, what that looks like. Meeting the girl of your dreams, getting married, and now like becoming a dad. It's like so like the last 6 years have just been
yeah, for sure.
like moment. So it's definitely been crazy. All right, year two in the league. Bro, all right, so try to make it to as many games as possible. I never try to tell people y'all are my favorite team, but I feel like it's inevitable because like I don't go watch anybody else in person because I just like I'll watch on TV and I'll support the other guys. But definitely Jacksonville Jaguars fan at heart. Crazy year. Definitely came off hot
Yeah.
and then had a little moment there in the middle, and then the last stretch was like up there with the best of them. Like how you feel about year two?
Yeah, it was obviously just a crazy year. I think that's the game is just NFL game is so much different than college, and I've learned that a lot my first 2 years of just no matter how the season's going, whether it's a stretch of a couple games or it's even like the first half of the season,
Yeah.
it's such a long year that you can. I mean, there's definitely is a point where it's too late. If you struggle for too long and you get
Right.
in
You
a
can't
rut
pick
and
it
you
up.
can't get out of it, then obviously there is a time. You see teams that miss the playoffs and towards the end of the season, but really, there's it's not really ever too late. And I think you look at what our team did. As long as you have like the right leadership, obviously you have to have good players, and
Right.
every team in the NFL does have good players, but you have to use them the right way, and you have to have great coaches. But the leadership's so important because it's such a long year, and no matter how good you are, like you look at the Chiefs and the Eagles, they're a little bit of an outlier. I mean, they only lost, I think, 3-4 games
Right.
each, which is obviously an incredible season. But even that, like compared to college, like if you
I know if
lose,
you lose one game week one, like you
yeah,
thinking about the
exactly.
year's over.
I remember when we were in college, like if you lost a game, like you thought you didn't have a chance to make the playoffs, any of that stuff.
Right.
So it's just so much different, and you got to have the right people and leaders and voices in your locker room because the season is gonna be there's gonna be ups and downs no matter how good your team is. So
Right.
I think that's something I've learned is how to manage those and not let those mess with your emotions. And because you're going to have, even as an individual, you're going to have some bad games. In a 17
Right.
game season, you limit those. And it's how bad are your bad games. Like, don't let
Yeah.
your bad games be, as a quarterback, have a ton of turnovers, whatever it may be. But you're going to have those moments. But how do you, like, week in and week out, like,
Like stay steady.
pivot? Yeah.
Right.
And just, like, continue to be yourself and trust what got you there in the process and your team
Yeah.
because like obviously I felt confident in our leadership from the beginning, so that was easier to do even when we lost 5 straight in October.
That's what I asked. Was that the
Yeah,
lowest moment?
yeah, I think so for me for sure. I just I wasn't playing well. I was not playing well at all, and especially in the league, no matter where you're at, but especially in the league, like if your quarterback doesn't play well, like you're not going to win.
You
You
have a
might
chance.
get lucky a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
you're not gonna win. So we lost 5 straight. I was playing probably the worst I've played in my career up to this point in 2 years,
Yeah.
and I really just had to like kind of like recenter myself and be like, okay, like what do I like what's going on? Obviously, I know the player that I could be and all those things, and I know
Right.
who I have been in the past. So
Yeah.
it kind of messes with you a little bit when you're not having the success that you want to have. So really, I was able to. We have a great support staff too, and obviously like family, friends, all that stuff.
Facts.
Like having the right people around you is important.
Yeah.
But I was just able to kind of like refocus, get my confidence back. Our staff did a great job of keeping the confidence in me. Like
Yeah.
Coach Peterson, his big thing is like he's just going to continue to put the ball back in my hands, even if I've thrown a couple picks, whatever it is. Look at
Right.
the Chargers game, like just
Yeah, we're gonna get to that, 'cause
yeah, we talk about that later. But it's like just keep putting the ball back in my hands, and him having that confidence in me, I think, really helped me get out of some of those
Yeah.
ruts I was in early in the season where I was more inconsistent. And then you look at the backstretch individually and as a team, we played really, really well.
Yeah. How big is that even? All right, somebody sees you, like obviously a lot of expectation, a lot of hype, and they just assume like he's always confident. Like even for like a coach to believe in you, even at this stage of your life, you know what I'm saying? When you franchise guy, like how much does
Yeah.
that mean to you?
Yeah, it means it means you mean like the confidence piece,
The
like
like,
what
I guess
is
like
like them having confidence in
Doug
me.
believing in you.
Yeah, I know. I mean that's super important because no matter what, like this game is, it's easier to be like confidence shouldn't be I guess like a what's the word for it, like a reactionary thing. It shouldn't change based on
Right.
or circumstantial. It shouldn't be
Circumstantial.
circumstantial, but when you're playing a game like we play, it kind of
It's
is, it
very
kind of
performance
is
based.
sometimes.
Yeah.
It's performance based, and obviously as a person off the field, I'm super confident in who I am, and I think that's easier to hold on to and to maintain.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a game, like it can be tough, especially when you're playing against the best. Like
Yeah.
every week, like you're not gonna get a down week where you can get your confidence back and go
Yeah.
out there and just ball out guaranteed. It's like every week you're playing great players, great teams. So to have the people around you when you are struggling, because it's inevitable, it's going to happen at times.
Right.
Hopefully for a short spurt, maybe a game, maybe
Yeah.
2 games, but it's going to happen throughout everyone's career. So having the right people around you that can help pick you up, that can show that they haven't lost faith in you. It's
Right.
not like, okay, you threw a couple of picks, we lost a game,
Yeah.
we're looking for the next guy, and just having that confidence, really from the coaches, but now like the whole team, because that's a big part of it too, is the players, like how do they look at you?
Right.
And I feel like now being able to back up who I've been and put together a good year and to finish the way we did, I feel like that just adds more confidence for myself and for the team because we
Right.
know what we can do, we know what we're capable of, and even if we go through some bad, a bad run next season,
Yeah.
we've been there before, so
Like,
it's not new. But yeah, I think like just to speak on just having those people around you who do have confidence and that faith in you is huge.
how big was it to? Because I didn't say you lost your swagger, but I feel like you said you went through some tough moments. And bro, I mean, is anybody like I don't know if you read it all, but I know you hear what people are saying about
Yeah,
you, and they like whatever. It's like, oh, he's a bust. He's blah 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 blah. Like personally, like, were you proud of yourself this year?
for sure. I mean, it's tough. Like, there's only one team that gets to be happy at the end of the season,
Right.
because it's as much as I would say 100%. I was proud of myself. I was proud of our team. Not only for the year that we had, when you look at it like, okay, playoff berth,
Yeah.
won the first round,
No.
played the team that won the Super Bowl, played them tight, and
Yeah.
had a chance to win that game and just didn't make enough plays. You look at all that, like you're proud of that, but then it's hard because it's so hard to win. So when you have those opportunities, it's hard to like let go of that,
Yeah.
because you're looking back and you watch that game and we just make a couple more plays, and the
Right. It
game
was
is
close.
so much different. But that's just not how it works. You can't ever go back and change it. And I think it's really going to propel us moving forward. And we're gonna have that. We're gonna have that edge because we know what we're capable of, but we also know
Right.
we've been overlooked a lot. And I think as individual, we have a bunch of guys that are that way too in their careers.
With a chip on their shoulder. That
For
was
sure.
that was one of the
Yeah.
things when people say y'all make the moves this summer. I remember at the house. I think because we come there in the summer. I remember y'all just got Zay, just got Christian, you got Evan. Maybe I missed somebody, but it's a bunch of guys that people doubted. They were like, because I remember y'all spent all that money. Everybody's like, who the hell did y'all spend money on? Like,
Yeah.
this is who y'all chose to get these millions of dollars to. But bro, they balled out this season. All three of those guys had career years.
Yeah, no, it was, and all those guys I'm really close with, and we hit it off. And I think that was what was cool about the guys that we picked in free agency. And
Right.
obviously, like, that's not, I don't make those decisions, but our, front office and our coaches did such a good job of picking the right guys. Like, it's not
Yeah.
just about, you got to have great players. Like, they got to be able to play. And
Right.
that's the first box you have to check, obviously. But then to also have, like, the character and just to be team oriented. Like, those
Facts.
guys are all team first. Like, and after playing with the whole season with them, I can attest to that. And we've all played with guys that aren't that way. And
Yeah.
it makes things a lot harder, especially when you're trying to perform at a high level and there's people counting on you, like, especially at my position. Like, if you have guys around you that maybe the team isn't, or winning isn't the priority, and they want the ball or whatever it is, it makes things a lot harder. And we didn't have guys like that. So it made it easier for us to click and connect. And that was like our main priority the whole time. So when, it might be a couple of game stretch where maybe Zay hasn't been getting the ball that much. And obviously, like, he's a competitor, he wants the ball.
Right.
And there's some frustration there, like we all have. Like, if I don't play well and we win, I'm a little frustrated,
Yeah.
because I want to do more. But there was never like button heads, and there was never like pride, never got in the way, no
Yeah.
egos. And I think that was one of the best things that we did, was getting those guys, but getting the right guys with those personalities.
Yeah, it's ironic though, because there are a lot of people out there that stat pad at every like career profession. It's just cool if they go out there and have a great game. But I feel like it's also the testament too of like the team aspect of like, if we all get in, like put in what we're supposed to, everybody's gonna get out what they want to get out, because they all had careers, all got bonuses, I think, or is you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just it was cool to see
For sure.
like everything, especially Christian, see his kind of season emerge. How cool was it seeing Travis back in the flow?
It was great, man. Obviously, Travis. You honestly you definitely know Travis, but even better than I do, because you were running back, spent an
4
extra year with him.
Yeah, I was there for his whole, like, we did 4 years together.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years together. Y'all were really close. Been through a lot, and we're close too. But it's like just having him back there and that comfort of, this is a guy I've done this exact thing with.
I'm
thousands and thousands
read
of
option,
times.
and I'm gonna watch him do
Yeah.
something, bro. He's Someone was asking me the other day, like who's like the best player you play with, and I'm like, I'm not, because obviously I play with you. I think you are gonna go down as one of the best players ever played. But when I think about somebody, when I just think of like just freak football player, because the stuff he does with the ball, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like when I see you do something, I'm like, bro, all right, he just threaded that pass over, and that's
It's
like
different. Like,
it's just-
quarterback's different than what he does, for sure.
bro. And the thing is too, like, and he's so gifted, and he's finally becoming a professional. To me, as I've seen this year, kind of turn that page, is like, bro, he's just always been like, give that man the ball, he can make something crazy. And people thought like, all right, college was it even though obviously you can't fluke into being the greatest ACC running back ever.
For sure.
We even get to the league. There's like, will it transfer? And bro, to see him go out there this year and look like he's back in Louisiana playing football sometimes, where he just like breaking tackles, people can't catch him.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. I mean, just like you see him, and he doesn't necessarily look like the biggest guy, but I mean, his legs are huge. The guys that see, like when you see him up close, and just like he breaks so many tackles, and he makes it look easy. I think that's the one thing. You see guys that are fast, but it looks like they're running super hard. Like he does. He never looks like he's running hard.
Effortless.
Like guys will just fall off of him that are twice his size. Like stuff like that. To your point, is like impressive when you see him play. I think that's the cool thing about his game. And obviously he had like the injury our rookie year, which was just crazy, kind of like a fluke,
it was
freak
crazy
thing.
I know.
But he's like never, knock on wood,
Yeah,
it's like never really hurt. Like he stays so healthy and just like super tough. That was what was cool to see. Guys that didn't know him and that play with him, like whether it's Brandon Sheriff up front, because
people always people always question, like, did he love ball?
Yeah,
and I think more so. His mom would give Travis and speaks for himself. I think more so that he loves ball.
Watch this and be like, "Dang, got a whole."
I just feel like he like really is a good teammate though. Like honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like
for sure.
Because as we play with him, it's like
he's super unselfish. Like there's been times we've been on the goal line. Like I've done it a ton of times in college.
I know.
Too.
Robert
pull the ball, take a touchdown from him because I see something.
Right.
And there really is a lot of guys that would be like pissed that I took their touchdown because it's. I mean, like whether it's not necessarily a rookie deal, but like bonuses or just stats or whatever, guys want that, you know. And he's just never that way. I'm like, sorry, dude. Like, it's and he's just like, I don't care. I was about to get smacked. So that's just how he is, and he's always been cool like that. So it's been fun to get to play with him.
Yeah, for sure. Special talent. Kind of. I'm asking this before we get to the Chargers game. Was there a moment in the season where you feel like you kind of saw the light in the tunnel, where you're like, all right, this kind of turned the ship? Like maybe it's something like obviously maybe a game or just a moment where like you felt that like inspiration again.
I mean, you talking about like personally or as a team?
Maybe both.
Yeah, I think they were kind of at the same time. I really felt like after, like I said, that Denver game, that was probably my lowest point in my 2-year career, just from like a playing perspective.
Right.
But after that, I really felt like, I mean, I prepare the same every week, so I'm not gonna say I did way more the next week to like have a good game, but. The next week I was super dialed in, really knew that this was a big moment. We were back at home. We were playing Vegas. We were like 2-6, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
We're 2-6. So it's like must-win game in our season. We've already lost 6 games. And had a good game against Vegas. We got down 17-0 to start the game. And like Vegas wasn't having a great year either. So we're both 2-6. We're like fighting to like try to right the ship, try to get on the right track. And we come back from down 17 and win that game. Like I played pretty well. Just like clean game, like no turnovers, made some good plays with my legs, all that stuff. We come back and win the game, and to see that flip the momentum in our team of like we had 5 games straight we lost by 1 score, and we like just kept finding ways to lose games, and we were like, we know we have a good enough team, we're in all these games, like we should be winning at least most of these games. You know, you're not gonna win them all, but. So we were just frustrated, but we stayed together. Like no one started pointing the finger, and that's what when you lose a lot of games in a row, especially in the league, and you got guys that have a lot of pride.
I would say a lot of pride.
Have played a lot of ball.
Macho men, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's and people they call it how they see it, especially in the NFL. It's different than college and high school.
Right.
Like they're not afraid to call people out, and that is like fine to do, and that's sometimes healthy. But we just didn't really have any of that. It was everyone just focused on like their job. Like that was what Coach Peterson talked about. It's in Nehemiah. He talked about just building like your section of the wall. Like everyone just focus on your section.
Do your part.
Yeah. And that was his message. I forget. It was in the middle of the season. And that was really his message. And it was like, don't worry about what the guy next to you is doing. If he's doing his job right, just do your job right. And if we all do that, we're going to be fine. And that's really what we did. Yeah. So, but what point that was at, honestly, don't remember exactly. Probably that Vegas game. It started to turn. But then we went to Kansas City the next week. I think we lost by 10.
But it was still a competitive game.
It was, yeah. We had our opportunities. We just didn't offensively. We got down by 20 in that game, and then kind of started to come back, and just wasn't enough. Like if you get down to them, it's tough. But then after that, then we had a bye, and then that was when we had the Baltimore game, at home, down I think 10 again, and came back and beat them. And then from then on, I think we kind of got that confidence back. We just had to consistently do it every week,
right.
But it was crazy, and it was cool to see the tides turn from within the team of just we had the belief, but we just didn't necessarily we weren't consistent. We didn't know how to finish. and then somewhere it just like clicked, and we were like, we're not losing another game. And I
Yeah.
think after the Detroit game, we didn't lose until Kansas City beat us in the divisional.
It was a hell of a run, bro. I
Yeah.
was like watching. I was like, these boys really about to do it. Because every week it was kind of like, even though y'all knew in the back of y'all's mind, like we have to win out to get in. And it was like y'all just kept chipping away, kept chipping away, kept chipping away. Then you got obviously probably the exclamation point on the season was obviously the Chargers game.
Yeah, it's
You know,
crazy.
like I
It's
mean,
crazy.
so we're here. We were supposed to go, but as we said, I just had a little girl, and I was like so bummed because the first playoff game was a good game, but then the second one was like they finally made it second round in Jacksonville. We're supposed to go, so we're watching it here, and bro, I was just hurting for you.
It's tough to
Bro, it
watch,
was,
I'm sure.
bro,
Tough to experience. The
bro.
first quarter was rough.
I was watching, and I was just like, it almost felt unbelievable.
Yeah, no,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm
Like,
with you.
because I've seen you play a lot, or just not even you, but any quarterback. Like, I was
Yeah.
just like one pick, two pick. Then bro had like he probably
three.
had the best
Sante
worst
had
build
three.
of his career because it's like he had a career day,
Yeah.
and it's against you because he probably, you know what I'm saying, just felt like I picked Trevor Lawrence off, but then they lose a game. What was it like going through that for you?
It was crazy. I mean, I agree with what you're saying. It was, I wouldn't say, I mean, I kind of agree. It was like almost unbelievable because some of the stuff that was happening was like I was frustrated. I'm trying to think of like each one in order. Like the first one was off a tip. We had like
know.
we had a little RPO as a tip.
And it was kind of
Off
all right.
a D line, I was like, all right, that's
all
kind of a
charge the
fluke, but it
game.
sucked because we were in our own territory. I
Right,
think we were
close.
on our own like 30.
Yeah,
They returned it a few yards. They scored 7-0 right away, and that's
Yeah.
what we had been doing the whole end of the season.
Right.
But we'd still been winning. But it's like, okay, this is the playoffs. Like we can't dig ourselves in this hole.
Right.
Like we've been doing, and we do it again. Like first possession. So that was frustrating. But like, all right, it's just like it's a tip. That's gonna happen. Second one, I think we went for it on fourth down. We were on like the plus 40 or so.
Yeah.
Went for it on fourth down. I was throwing whatever, like a stop or something to Zay. And I felt like he got held, but maybe he did, maybe he didn't get called. So when I threw it like before he broke and when he's coming out of it, he kind of gets grabbed.
Right.
So then he turns around, he's like looking for the flag and the ball goes by him and Asante picks it. And I think that was his first pick because he got the next three. So
No.
the first one went to a linebacker, then the next three
Right.
went to Asante. He picked it, and it was fourth down. I was still frustrated. I'm like, okay, it was fourth down. I had to throw it. Like, you got to try to make a play.
Right,
That's the main thing. Don't get sacked on fourth down. Like, you got to get it somewhere.
Yeah.
So try to make a play. He picks it off. It was fourth down. I'm like, all right, like, okay, it's fine. Like, it's kind of I was kind of pissed at how it happened, but then we're backed up, and
Right before half.
yeah, we had a certain play on where I was looking for something specific, and I thought I had the coverage that I wanted. I thought it was man coverage, and it wasn't. And I did a bad job post snap of seeing it. And he's in cover 2, and we have a shallow going, and I come late to the shallow and don't even see him. And he like cuts it off all the way, jumps in front of it. That was my worst one. That was the one where I was like, all right, that was like a bad decision,
Right.
playing bad ball. Like that was really the only one I felt like I should have done something differently. So it's just piling on at that point. It's 3 in the first quarter. Like that's got to be it's probably a record.
It's got to be a
somewhere.
record. I was
Yeah.
like, it really just felt unreal.
Yeah.
And you know how people say like football is like a mirror of life, but I feel like even like that game was a microcosm of y'all's season. It felt like, all right, like
For sure. That's
you know
what we all said, yeah.
you know, like it was just like it felt like it was kind of like, all right, this is symbolic. Obviously, in the middle of it, you don't know how it's going to end.
No,
But as you
yeah.
saw it play out, it was like this has kind of been the story of the season. But I'll say this too because one of the best things about playing football at every level, especially collegiately, you can obviously professionally, is like your lessons are on full display. Like some people, it's kind of good and bad. Like when you win, a million people see you win. It's probably the coolest thing ever. When you lose though, or you have bad moments, it's like on full display for everybody
Sure,
to
yeah,
just
for sure.
pick apart. But during that moment, you really made a decision where you was like, I don't really know what decision you made. Obviously, you made some type of decision. You made some type of decision in the locker room to turn the page. What was that like?
I mean, it takes obviously just more than just myself. Like, even at the end of the game, or not the end of the game, at the end of the first half, like you have to, as a quarterback too, it's so mental. Like you have to like self-talk, super important. Like, what are you saying to yourself? It's easy to get super negative when you're not playing well, and I did at times, obviously, after those plays. But then it's like I convinced myself, and I still, after like watching the tape, I still think it's true. But it's like, all right, I've had one play out of these 4 turnovers. Like I've had one play that I really feel like I made a bad decision and should have got intercepted. Like that's my play, and that's gonna happen. Like obviously it's not good still, but The other 3 have been like great plays. One might have thought was a penalty, whatever.
Yeah.
But we're here now. They've already happened. We're down by, what was it, 27?
27.
Yeah, we're down 27 at that point. I'm like, all right, there's no 27-point plays. Like that's what I told the guys on the sideline. I'm like, and credit to our team, because in order to do that, everyone has to not lose belief and faith. Even if I still believe, I'm also the one that threw 4 picks. Those guys still got to believe in me. And I think we had been through enough in the season to where they've known that we've had our back against the wall before.
Right.
We've been in this hole, not that many points, but we've been in situations like this, and they've seen how we've came out the other side, and we have that belief in each other. So they just kept the confidence in me. They kept coming up to me like, "You're good. Let's just play."
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, I'm like, "There's no 27-point play. Like we just got to be one at a time." And then we went on a drive right before the end of the first half,
right?
And we scored and made it 27-7. And it was such a weird feeling because it's like no one even really wanted to celebrate the touchdown. Like Evan caught it and just kind of like sat in the end zone. I'm like, dude, I know, like help him up. And we're like, all right, good catch. Like, all right, let's go. Like we got a lot of work to do. Like everybody knew what we had to do, but it was cool seeing nobody lose faith. And I think that they got the ball to start the second half.
They
too.
did.
So it was like everything was
like, I mean,
it was not like lining up for us.
Was in their favor for sure. They were up big. Second round of playoffs. It's almost you could hit cruise control, which they might have done that in a sense. And then this play after play.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like, it's honestly tough being in that situation when you have a lead, especially in a big game. And as like a coach, because the game is so analytical. Like you have a whole team that like looks at the numbers, like what you should do. Should you go for it here? Should you run it? Like especially when you get to the end of the third or middle to late fourth quarter.
Right.
When you're trying to look at clock management when you have the lead. So it's hard to sometimes not get conservative because you're trying to think about every like possibility and what's going to happen. But I mean, we really just, once we got that spark, we went on a roll, and I think we scored 5 straight possessions.
Right.
Like that last touchdown in the first half, or the touchdown in the first half, and then we didn't punt the rest of the game. So we just caught fire, and I mean, it's really like something that doesn't happen much. Like that's not the formula for winning in the playoffs.
I know. But it became. I mean, obviously, I think statistically, it's the 3rd largest comeback ever in. I don't know if NFL game or playoff game, 1 or 2, but still crazy feet.
Yeah, something like that.
But just legendary game though. Like I mean, that'll probably one. As they write the, you know what I'm saying, write your y'all's career and y'all's story is like that's gonna be one of those games. After the game, went to Waffle House. That became obviously a big story.
Yeah.
Walk me through that.
I mean, honestly, I'm glad I went there because I've talked about that more. I finally get other questions besides my hair. Like everybody only asks me about my hair, but now they ask me about Waffle House. So it's like I'd rather talk about something different now. So it's perfect. Yeah, no, we had a couple guys on our team that never been, like Brandon Sheriff and EJ Perry.
Where are they from?
EJ's from Massachusetts and Brandon is from Iowa and went to Iowa.
They don't have Waffle Houses like.
No, they don't have them.
Oh, I know. I thought Waffle House was a national chain.
I don't know if they have them up north, but I know they don't have them like in Iowa and like
what
is that, the Midwest?
Yeah, we some good old Southern boys. Everybody gets Waffle House.
I hadn't been to Iowa, but yeah, they don't have them. So they hadn't been. I was like, all right. We were talking about it like a week or 2 before.
Yeah,
I think it was the week before, and it's like you haven't been. Like, all right, after a game we got to go. Like when we win next week, we're going.
Right.
And we won, and we set it up. Like Marissa called him ahead and was like, "Can you just save a couple tables for us?"
Yeah.
So we had like 10 or 12 of us went. It's good. Hit the spot.
You like America's champion. Everybody, you win a big game. Then all places you could go. No steakhouse, no lobster. I know. Well, boy wants it.
Well, it is late in Jacksonville, but no, it's you got to celebrate the right way. And I'm giving Waffle House a lot of
pub right now. They've been getting.
They don't even need it though. Like,
I know it's like
they're like whatever. We're gonna get
the demographic is Waffle House. So keep going to Waffle House. What'd you order?
I got a Texas bacon cheesesteak with pecan waffle and hash browns with cheese. But I change it up every time. Like sometimes I get the all-star, but that was my I didn't really want breakfast. Like I wanted like a dinner.
Right, a dinner meal.
So
I'm different. I feel like when I go to Waffle House, it's just like standard. Like I get the same thing, all-star special, waffle.
You get cheese and eggs.
Cheese and eggs. Okay. I might get a little risky with the hash browns here and there. You know, sometimes I might do dice, chunk 'em, like all the stuff. Sometimes I just want it plain. But yeah, so shout out to Waffle House. Obviously getting a lot of pub here. Yeah, great year 2. Walk me through like just year 1 in the sense of making it to the league. Like, I guess a childhood dream, finally make it.
Yeah, it's a year. Rookie year is the longest year for sure of that I've had in my life. I'm sure there's going to be,
Right.
just talking about like football, sports
Yeah.
world wise, like because you play a full season. You start camp in college in what, August.
August.
August, you go through. We played in the playoffs. So I think we lost in semifinals. Stopped the first week of January.
Got smacked.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad game. Not the way you want to go out.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, first week of January, and then I took like I think 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
Just because everyone told me like this is gonna be a long year.
Right.
So I took a couple weeks off, and then I moved to California to start training.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, I ended up surprised, like surgery, all that stuff. I didn't know
that
that wasn't the plan. Obviously,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that after the season. I was for sure was gonna have to get it. So that even changed things a little bit because then I couldn't prepare the way I wanted to.
Right.
Like my body, I couldn't throw for a long time, and even had some limitations when I showed up for rookie mini camp and
Right.
OTAs. So it was a long year. Obviously, my experience was different than a lot of guys that got drafted. Like, I felt like I didn't have to do quite as many interviews and stuff, which I am grateful for because I know there's a lot of like pressure and stress on that. And going to the combine, like it was COVID too.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, I didn't even
Wow.
go to the combine because it was just medical and I had the surgery, so I didn't even have to go to that because it was like, all right, this is the issue, and I just got surgery. Everybody knows about it, so you don't
I
have to
low-key
check
forgot
it.
about COVID.
Yeah.
Not that I forgot, but in your part of your
Yeah,
process.
and
Yeah.
in like football draft sense, like it's way different than it is or the combine than it is obviously normally. So,
Yeah.
and we actually got married, I think, the day of the combine. It was just medical checks. So, but still, we like our wedding was that day. So I'm like, I just got surgery. They were cool with me not going, and our wedding was that day. So
I'm
that was
replaying it in my mind. You're right. That was like such a remix of just like, yeah, you kind of made your, I
yeah,
don't know if you made it, God kind of made your own little path of like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, so I was literally getting married, so also that kind of like interfered a little
Yeah.
bit. But so that was like weird for me to start going through like, and I've never had surgery in my life, so
Yeah.
like trying to figure out, and it's before like the biggest season of my life,
Right.
obviously. So trying to figure that out, and then moving to Jacksonville, all that, like you're trying to figure out life, but also be
Yeah.
like the best player you can be, and you're
For
having
sure.
a new team, new coaches, new teammates, like you're trying to get to know everybody and also like make your impression of like who you are, especially being the quarterback. So
No.
it's a lot of things to try to like juggle. But honestly, like I feel like mentally I kind of stayed like sane through it all, like was myself, all that. Obviously the season did not go how I wanted it to,
crazy.
but there's a lesson in all of it,
Yeah, looking back now, obviously in the moment, there's a lot going on. Your first year, I guess what was the biggest lesson from that year?
There was a lot, I think I learned more about who I was. Like, I've had a lot of, I know who I am, like off the field, all that stuff. Like we talked about that earlier, but I think on the field, like my confidence hadn't been really shaken too much because I've had a lot of success in my life, like high
Right.
school, college. Like, I mean, you've seen me since I came in
Yeah.
spring ball in
I know,
2018. Like you've seen kind of my experience there unfold, and I didn't have a ton of, I've had to compete and like earn what I've got, but I haven't had a ton of like I guess adversity,
Right.
especially on the field. So that was new. Not playing well. Our team, we weren't winning. We obviously like finished last in the league.
Yeah.
All those things were challenging. I think I just learned more about like how do I continue to be myself through the adversity, because there's going to be like a lot of ups and downs. Clearly, like
Right.
my first year showed
For
me
sure.
that. And I think it helped me a ton my second year weather the storm of
I
having
know.
some struggled kind of the first game. Then the next two games played really well, and we won. I think we won by like 20 points each
Right.
game. So I'm like, all right, we're good. Like
Yeah.
we kind of turned this thing around, and then we lost 5 straight, and I didn't play well. So I think that helped me navigate that, and ultimately got me in the position where I was able to finish strong, and where our team was able to play well down the stretch was because I was, I think, prepared a little bit by my rookie year of
Yeah.
the challenges and the adversity.
I say it's like you wouldn't choose it, but you wouldn't change it. Cause like in a
For sure.
moment you wish like nobody's gonna
Yeah, it
choose it
sucked.
to go
Yeah,
three
yeah.
and was it 3
3 and 14.
3
yeah.
and 14,
14.
obviously coaching change, your first year, all that stuff. You wouldn't choose anything, but now like looking back, I don't feel like you would change a thing.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, it taught me a lot. Like it was just such a crazy, like something I wouldn't even, if someone wrote up like what would be like a bad situation for your rookie
A
year, I
bad
wouldn't
first
even
year.
like
After
think
going
of-
like honestly, after going probably the best way it could go up to that point. You know,
Yeah,
like
for
number
sure.
one pick, locked in, you going into the Jags. Post that though,
Yeah, it was definitely challenging. And you look at it like people want to always ask me, about Coach
Hmm.
Meyer and just the whole situation. It's like the way things went, it's not one person. Like there's so many different factors and
Yeah.
so many things that happened. It was almost just like nothing went right,
Yeah.
and like obviously, and I take a lot of the blame myself too because I didn't play well my rookie year. Like you
Hmm.
can cut on the tape, watch it's not good, but I will say it's hard to play well when things are like kind of struggling around you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's so many like things that were just going on everywhere. It was like it's hard for anyone to be their best. So you can't.
Right.
It's hard to like blame one person or one thing for whatever everything that happened. And like you said, like you wouldn't change it. It's part of the story, and I think it makes the story even better.
For sure.
But yeah, that was the main thing. Is like how do I keep my confidence through all this, and how do I use this to make me better? Because like I know I'm gonna be in Jacksonville for a long time. I know I'm gonna be the player that I know I am.
Facts.
So like how can I just use this? And it took a while to kind of understand everything. And then now hindsight's 2020. Like it's easier to see,
100%.
but it
Now,
was harder then for sure.
but enduring it. Before we get back to college for a little bit, a couple questions. I feel like you've experienced some things that I think a lot of people, no, I don't think people never experience. Like one, going overall, number one overall. One, how was that? And then I don't think it changed you too much, but I'm curious, like, what was it like to see that first check hit your account? Like, you know what I'm saying? Becoming a millionaire for like the first time was like, what was that like? I'm sure. Also, before you get to college, we talk about this too. You definitely could have like knowing everything now, but I know dudes who made a lot of money in college that weren't great players. So I don't know what could have happened if NIL was a thing when you were in college, bro. It could have been.
Yeah, I
Could,
don't even know. I don't even. People ask me that. They ask me that a lot actually. Like I don't even think about it. I'm honestly glad it wasn't. I don't know. You
yeah.
know me though. Like
Right. Yeah.
it's and I'm trying to think like it's really good. I think it is really good for certain guys and for certain situations. I think it can be bad for other guys.
Mm,
And not saying it would be bad for me. Like I do think obviously I could have made some money, but
yeah.
I ended up, making that money off the field, either way. And I
Right.
think I've been strategic in what I've chosen to do. But it would have been hard to navigate, especially as a college player. Like it's hard enough to do school and be a great player and try to make it to the NFL
Right.
and do all that. But you add in like, all right,
Now
marketing,
you gotta show up.
commercials,
Yeah.
shoots, getting paid this and that. I got to pay taxes on this. I got to hire people to manage all this for me. Like that's hard. And I mean, guys obviously are doing it. But then I look at guys like you who have made a name for themselves in
Right.
college, who have like a great platform, who've done things the right way, who've built a name for themselves, and like you had an opportunity to make a good bit of money, I'm
Right.
sure. Like
Yeah.
obviously I don't know all the numbers, but
Yeah.
like I'm sure that's helped you a lot financially. So
For
it's
sure.
like you look at that and I'm like thankful for that guys get to do that.
Yeah.
And I think you've managed it well. And obviously, and you look at other guys that maybe had a great college career and were a huge name and then
They never got to make a
didn't
penny.
pan out in the NFL and they probably lost a million, couple $1 million.
I know. They
So
could have had.
it's you look at both sides of it. I mean, I definitely don't feel like I missed anything.
Yeah. No, you
But
didn't. You
yeah,
didn't. How was it? Well, I guess did anything change? Like, all right, you check your Wells Fargo. Who you bank with?
UBS,
You
UBS,
shout out
yeah,
UBS.
UBS.
You check your UBS account the next day. Is it next day? I don't know the problem. This is like,
No, no, no. After the draft?
yeah.
No, not at all.
When
No,
does it hit?
I can't even remember exactly. It depends on. I think it depends on where you get picked.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it takes longer. Like there's negotiations, even if though it's a
Mhm.
rookie deal, like it's
You still
slotted,
can
but
put your
there's
own
still
little.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's negotiations. There's I mean, not in the amount of money you get, but how you get it, when you
Right.
get it. Is it all at once? Is it spread out? Is
Yeah.
it front, back, like whatever? So that takes some time, and mine took a little while. I don't even remember when, but it was definitely like a couple months
Oh damn.
after at least a month. I don't remember for sure, but it
Yeah.
was at least a month that it hit, and then it's just like, dang, like I mean, nothing really changed. Like
Yeah.
it's like I
Life's
mean, we
good.
can like
Do some
it
stuff.
is nice. Like even like little things. I've even heard like people like golfers. I saw a little video on Instagram. Golfers talk about they ask them the same question. He's like, oh, well, I can get whatever I want at Chipotle. Like not even talking about Chipotle, but just in general, like it's nice having that luxury that a lot of people don't have. Is like
Yeah.
wherever we go, whatever we do, I know we have the means to kind of
do
do
it.
what we want, and
Right.
whether that's like just going out to eat, like and get whatever I want to eat, like stuff
Yeah.
like
You're
that.
not
I
thinking
feel
twice
like,
about. Yeah.
and I've always been blessed with like a great family, and
Facts.
we've had the means to do things. So it's not like I couldn't eat,
You got
when
out.
I
You
was
got it out the
it's
mud.
not like that,
Yeah.
but like it is just like little things like that, and just being able to do what we want to do. Like there's a lot of people that can't do that. They have
No.
great lives, but they aren't able to financially just do what they
Right.
want and go
Had the
where they
freedom.
want. And that's a blessing for sure. So I think that it opens your eyes a little bit and you're really grateful for it. But it also, like, I try to be the same. Like I still like try to save money. I mean, don't do a great job of that sometimes, but I feel like our people kind of keep us in line and
Right.
we do what we need to do, but not much change, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Because I feel like, it's just obviously things have to change, but as much as they don't have to, I feel like you've evolved in the right way.
For sure. And like we've all heard it, like money usually doesn't like change someone. It kind of
reveals you.
shows who you are. And
For sure.
like I think that's true and untrue. Like I think people can change and people can like definitely change who they are and make a comeback is for the better. But I also think like it usually does. Like if you have some issues, whether that's like insecurities, whatever it is, like
It's only you only gonna have more money to buy.
Yeah.
And like, and not knocking it. I ain't knocking nobody got a chain because some guys can afford the chains, but it's like, especially
like a little gold chain.
Well, yeah, and look, he never wore hats in college.
I've had this. My mom got this for me. I had this for a while.
My mom got me this chain.
My mom bought this chain,
Right.
which was funny now, but she got this for me. So
shout out to Amanda. But some guys, they get money finally. They switch up on their friends. They go buy something really expensive. And not that you can't treat yourself, because that's a part of life too. If you get money, do something nice for yourself.
yeah,
A lot of guys do switch up, and I think I applaud you for not switching up. I'm moving to college before we get the first lady Duval on. It's our special treat for the day.
she's waiting.
I know she's waiting. Mackenzie and Marissa are
Dressing
waiting.
room.
Let's go back to Clemson for a little bit. I want to talk about a couple things. Ended on some cool things I feel like we both got the experience in college. One, what made you go to Clemson?
Just the people. I mean, that's what everybody says,
know.
but it really is true. Somehow, like I was not a very mature, like junior, senior in high school. I think I came in my junior year.
Yeah.
But something, my parents, Coach Sweeney, like a mixture of everything. Marissa sitting over here.
I know she gave you a little.
Just kind of everything, like, everything just kind of had its own hand and like steering me in that direction. And then myself, like obviously I ended up coming to that conclusion and I made that decision.
Right.
That's what I wanted to do. But I felt like everything kind of like, because I was looking at Clemson in Georgia and I really did love Georgia. Like I wasn't a Georgia fan, but I grew up in Georgia. It's close to home.
Yeah.
They recruited me super hard, them and Clemson. Those were like my top two. And I loved Georgia. I love the campus. Obviously, what they were doing with the program, you see what it is now. Like I could kind of see it coming and know what they were building. But just something about the people was infectious at Clemson. And Coach Sweeney is super genuine. I think when you sit down and talk with him, you can feel that. And yeah, he's definitely like people have their own opinions, but no one can that's played for him. Everyone can attest to how genuine of a person he is, and he really does care about you. And I think that came through immediately to myself, to my family, the way he treated us. And then, but not just him, the other people around him. Like everyone kind of, I wouldn't say mirrors that because that's who they are themselves. But
it's a culture for sure.
It's a culture, and he's put people around him and around the players that do things the right way, that treat people right.
Right.
And like Coach Streeter, Coach Elliott when he was there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many other people. But those are the two main ones, obviously quarterback coach and offense coordinator through my career. And they're the same way. Like they're genuine. They want to help you. They care about you as a person more than a player. Obviously, at the end of the day, you're gonna kind of make your own
name
path for yourself, make your own path. But they really do care about you. And I think I saw that, especially at the end. Yeah. Not to say that Georgia coaches didn't, because they've obviously done a great job. But I just felt that connection more with the people at Clemson.
I definitely feel like it's more on the forefront of like, because what I mean, a lot of schools, let's be real, like they don't. I think it's love. I would never, because now I know people that play other programs. Yeah. Football is always going to bond people together. Like it's no way for it not to happen. You're going to love the people you play with.
For sure.
But I just think about, when I think the difference with Clemson is, it's more so loving the man you are more than the football player. In a way, like, because obviously if you play well in school, bro, you're going to be loved. You're going to be the man. The coach is going to like you.
For sure.
All that stuff. I think we both can attest to is Clemson really prepared us as men, and because I feel like you became a really good person. Because I feel like you would have went, I think you say the same. I think your path football-wise wouldn't have changed too much on where you went.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I think it could have.
Maybe.
I mean, I think obviously I have confidence in who I am as a player.
Yeah.
I think I know it all would have worked out.
Right.
But I don't know if it would have worked out the same way,
I know.
especially like relationships like
Right.
Marissa
Yeah.
and you and all the
Yeah.
people I've been able to meet. I think that's cool. Is you look at like one decision and
Could
how it
alter.
changes everything,
Yeah.
and it would have changed everything. Who knows on the field? I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I totally agree. Like the culture, and I think college is unique because the head coach is so important in the culture, and it is too in the NFL. Like
It's
I shouldn't
different.
have even said it that way, but it's just different because the college and atmosphere, the environment, you're there for 3 or 4 years, but you're there like every day, year
Yeah.
round. Like I mean, we get a couple weeks off a year, but you're in the building, you're around each other, you're
We're
around
doing
the
literally
coaches.
every second of the day. Like we wake up together, go to
For sure,
class.
yeah.
After practice, we hang in, and then if you got if your girlfriends become friends at the time, you
Even
go,
after that,
you know, like you go like you
For
basically
sure.
waking up doing everything together, and so it's just I feel like the bond is a lot
No
different.
doubt, it is different, and like even the impact that the coaches have on like
Right.
your development. Like when you get to the NFL, obviously there's some young guys who might be 20, the youngest, or 21.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone still develops as they get older, but
Right.
when you're like 17 to 20, what'd you finish at 24?
Yeah, I'm old as
So
hell.
that's a lot. So like look at all that time, like
Stop
29.
it! Stop
he-
it!
he's like secretly going to class.
Like
still.
yeah, going to get my PhD right now.
But no, you have like all those like that range, and those are like super important years to
Very
like, who
pivotal,
you become,
impressionable
your
years.
development, like whatever as a person,
Yeah.
more than just physically and all that,
Right.
in football. But like the coaches have a unique opportunity to impact
Yeah.
the players that they're around, and it's not the same in the NFL because you're not around each other quite as much, and I mean you're playing with guys that are 30, 35.
They got
and obviously
kids
younger
and
guys
families.
too, but yeah, and the culture's super important, and we have a great coach. I love Coach Peterson. He's done a great job, and you can see how that's changed our team. But it's a different mindset, and it's a profession. Like that's your
Right.
job. Like
Yeah.
you get paid to do it. You know, if you don't do your job, he can love you as much as anybody, but you got to go if you
Right.
can't do. You know what I mean? So it's just different than that. Like you're not cutting anyone. Like Clemson, like
I
Coach
know.
Swing's gonna keep you around. You know, you might not be playing as much, but
Right,
he's gonna
but
keep
you're
you
gonna be
around.
on the team.
Yeah.
What moment? We'll talk national championship briefly. Besides the Natty, what moment comes back to your mind, like football wise, when you think of Clemson? Is anyone
Moment.
in particular?
I mean, I think people ask me like my favorite game was that Ohio State game. Just the first one, not the second one. The second one was not good.
Second one
This is my least
a
favorite
nightmare.
college moments. No, the first one, crazy game.
I know.
And I have a couple of Ohio State teammates now that played on
Oh.
that team. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's dope.
So
Yeah.
Devon,
Yeah.
Luke. I'm trying to think of who else. There might be another one, but those two for sure.
Yeah.
Played against them, and
I feel like that
they
moment
still
showed-
are pissed about it. They still talk about the fumble, the
I know.
incompletion, whatever. It was an incompletion, but
Yeah.
whatever you guys want to call it, they always talk about it. But for us, it was like obviously a huge game, and we look at it. That was like one of my favorite memories.
Bro, that was memory. One AZ's dope, and then, but I think though you had a couple of moments like that in the league already. But to me in college, not people think you sweet, but like they look at the hair, they be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They like, bro, soft, or he just like prima donna.
Sweet.
Yeah, but it's like that moment, take the hit, and then you go.
Talk about Ohio State.
Yeah, and you go run. To me, that was like, bro, heart on the line, character on the line. Like this is who I am.
Yeah, that was crazy. People still, it's funny. People think I like. Probably just Ohio State fans. I think I like faked that injury to get the targeting.
Bro, you
call.
got knocked out.
Like, dude, I thought I broke my collarbone.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a key moment, like for myself, but like for our team.
Yeah.
And that kind of like turned the game around. Obviously, I think Travis had a great game.
Crazy
game. I think
game.
he had a couple touchdown catches.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he went off too. That was my first and only game I think I rushed for over 100 yards. I don't know when.
I feel like in the league, that's not really a
that'll
good thing.
happen
You don't really
again.
want. Well, some people, I feel like it's not really your forte, but you can scramble.
It's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
shoot, you look at the guys that have been able to do it consistently. It's tough. Those guys, they're hitting. They're all big and fast, and
Yeah.
so it's definitely a lot tougher in the league.
Okay, 2018, win a natty first year. Won. It's my second one. I was blessed. I was there for the best run.
Flex.
Bro,
Second
best run of Clemson football. Like literally.
Almost had three. God,
Almost
really.
had three.
That'd been crazy.
Almost. Let's talk about the game before we get to the natty, because I feel like we'll end on a high note.
Gosh.
Is that LSU game to me was so crazy. Even though we believe we're going to win, I feel like you look back at the tape, bro, we had a lot of chances to win that game. We started off hot. But looking back, it's like I think the football guys just want him to have that one. Honestly, it's in New Orleans.
Yeah,
You know,
everything went right for them. I mean, we did. Well, I will say, but also we did start off with a
we
lead,
came out
so I
hot,
wouldn't say everything went right for them. But that team was really good. They
bro.
were
And
like
you
especially looking back at it now and to
see
see
how everything's played out.
yeah, especially guys that have been great in the league. Like they were really really good.
I know.
Yeah.
In the moment,
One of the few times we like might have been outmatched was like that game. Didn't
even though
happen
our
much.
team was like, you
Yeah,
look at
we
the
were
guy,
stacked too. I mean,
yeah, I think if you take the guys from that field that night, and you look at like probably the next, really the highest played out since the league. Obviously, you, Trav, Zay, T, Jamar, Joe, Justin. I'm missing somebody like Clyde Hilaire.
I mean, we were both us two, and then look at Ohio State, the team in the semifinals that we had to beat to get there. I mean, you look at those three teams; those have been some of the. I don't want to. People are going to see it and be like, "No, those were not the best," But it's
Right.
like those. I feel like biasly are the three probably best teams in one playoff that I've seen.
I know.
Collectively, like that was a loaded,
Especially
playoff.
quarterback play. You, Justin, Joe. Then receivers. I mean, you look at what Garrett Wilson became.
Oh, Jalen was he was Oklahoma, I think, that year, right?
Wow.
That was when the year he transferred. So
That was
Oklahoma had
19.
Jalen too. So you look at that now.
Four
crazy.
franchise guys. That's nuts. Yeah, we lost that game. Whatever.
Moving on.
I know. Moving on.
They beat us.
I'm gonna tell you the moment that I thought we lost the game, and obviously in the moment, it's hindsight's 2020. Whenever they started playing that Tiger rant.
Oh yeah, that was. Well, the whole stadium, and we have great fans, so it was surprising because it's not surprising because you're in Louisiana. So it's like I don't know what we expected, but we just always have more fans. Like even at a lot of away games,
right? When they started singing,
they had
that
outnumbers.
Tiger blank, I was just like, and the whole stadium was singing it. It felt like it was.
They're ruthless fans for sure.
Yeah.
Walking the field in pregame, here's some crazy stuff.
Yeah, for sure. They get a little rowdy, but it was a great atmosphere. 2018 Natty, first year, obviously won national championship, and definitely thought we was gonna go on like we're gonna win every. We're gonna win every Natty.
We won 29 straight.
29 straight. Could have been 30-0, like the first one ever.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
Life happens. How did it feel to win Natty first year?
I mean, I don't think I really knew because I had success in high school. We won 2 state championships my sophomore and junior year. Lost in the second round my senior year, which was a tough way to end. Yeah. But like I've had success, so obviously you know how special it is to win a national championship. But I don't think you really understand when you win it as a freshman and how our season went. Like after like the 5th or 6th game, we just like killed everybody.
Everybody by the margin.
Before that, we had a couple close games like Texas A&M, Syracuse, and maybe one other one that were kind of tight. But then, so I don't think it kind of set me up because I don't think I realized how hard it is to win, especially in the league. Like I had no idea at that point. But then also even in college, like I know we had so much success. Our team was if you look at our team, we were loaded that year.
Bro,
we were so good.
I don't think Clemson fans even like definitely since the experience we've had the past couple of years. I don't know how you couldn't get spoiled, but we went on that was a crazy run. That 18 team, even the 19 team up until the last game. Then our 2020 season was, besides the Notre Dame game, was a great year. Yep. And so just definitely was a special run, man.
It was cool to be a part of. I think as it's gone on, I think everyone has realized how special that was. When you're further removed from it, it's easier to see. Right. And that's part of why we were able to have so much success is because we just like Coach Swing talks about like the blinders.
I know.
We really had that. So we weren't looking at like what we were doing and thinking this is really hard to do. We were just thinking about like winning the next one every week. So that also taught me a lot now is like that's how you look at things and that's how you have success and are able to accomplish things is you just look at what's right in front of you and focus on that.
Right.
So, but looking at it now, it was special. And that game was crazy.
Bro, I mean,
I remember being so nervous before the game, like we're playing Alabama, and everyone all year talked about, and they were really good, but talked about how this is one of the best teams we've ever seen, all this stuff. And I'm sitting there as a freshman, I'm like, dude, I think I weighed like right at like 200 pounds, like I'm playing these huge dudes in Alabama, and I'm like so nervous before the game, and then it started, and then I think first possession, I didn't have a good possession, like 3 and out.
Yeah.
Missed a throw, got a ball batted, punted, and then after that, AJ got the pick 6, and that just sparked us. And then I don't even know if we got stopped really the rest of the game.
And it was wraps. I mean, that was
Yeah.
To win like that, it's only been obviously Georgia probably just broke the records this year.
Yeah, they kind of.
But I mean,
they got us
before
in
that was one of the better national championship like dominations,
Yeah.
like 2018. Now Georgia will forever. Probably, I can't imagine nobody else can be like that.
Yeah, people won't talk about ours that much
No,
anymore.
I know.
It's tough.
All right, last couple days in college. Then we got to get some dinner, guys. We got Marissa coming on in a second. I do want to talk about this because I feel like it's cool. And it's just things like kind of like stories we know. We'll do this one first, and because they actually one of them. No, yeah, we'll do this first. All right. So 2020, she's in the room, and my kids, they were all there at this time. So 2020, Coach Swinney kind of announces to us like, "Hey, y'all probably won't have a season," and everybody's kind of like, "This is crazy."
Yeah.
Um,
It's like, well, we just did all at camp.
did all the camp, and we came back from COVID, guys, and it was just like everybody was. It was crazy. I mean, that year was one. Every human being knows like how
So
crazy
weird,
COVID
yeah.
was, and then we kind of all are at home or wherever we were. We come back to campus, and we fight basically to do all the protocols. And looking back, bro, those protocols were,
It's tough. It's
bro.
tough,
People were
man.
just. I mean,
I've been through a lot of protocols, especially like going into the NFL. Like
Yeah.
there were some strict ones. It's like just different, like everywhere.
Yeah, it was. People were just. Everybody's trying to do their best, but we went through all the proteocals. Finally, got to the point of camp. We're about to have a season, and they kind of tell us like, it's more. It got really political, but like we're gonna have a season. So I remember I guess it was a Saturday practice, and then the girl Mackenzie was in town, and that's when Marissa was living in Anderson. We went over to the house, and basically it's kind of got to the point of like, bro, you had called your agent, and we're like about to get set up for. All right, we're gonna miss the season. I'm gonna get ready for the draft. And I'm like, damn, this is how my last year of my football career is gonna go out.
It's crazy. Yeah, it would have been terrible.
I'm not even gonna play.
Would have played 2 years.
2
Would
years.
have been like a record.
Right.
I would have not been. I would have missed that because obviously, like we had a special group, and at that point, you're like, we're winning the national championship.
I know.
That's what like got to go out on top. All
Right.
that. Didn't end up doing it, but had a good year, and like it would have sucked to miss that.
I know. And then we're sitting there, and I don't know really what sparked it, but I just remember, all right, we weren't gonna have a season, and then I just start scheming. I'm like, all right, well, let's just go, let's try something, because everybody across the country wanted to play. And then this guy I had met throughout the peaceful protest stuff during the summer, like we stayed in contact. He went to Stanford. I hit him and was like, hey, can we get a group together? And I like hop on a Zoom call. And he's like, yeah, we'll get somebody together tonight. And then I asked you, I was like, bro, who do you know? So I don't know. You got Justin on there. And then they were like, yeah, I know dudes from Oregon. I know dudes from blah. I know Chuba Hubbard. And so we're like, are we going to set a time? I don't know what exact time. It was like 7 o'clock sharp or whatever it was. We were like, all right, we're going to meet. And then I start devising, like I got my journal. This is probably be legendary one day, but I have a journal of like, I start making a plan of like, all right,
Probably
here's what
gone through like 10 since then, so you gotta
no,
find it.
right, too much. But no, the spark was you tweeted out that tweet. That's what it was. I'm really jogging my memory. We were just in the house, and you basically just put out your last like farewell to like, I don't know what you said, but it was a good tweet.
You're talking about like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah, it's tough. Like now, it's interesting. Like I was pretty naive to all the. I mean, everything's so like political now.
I know.
Doing that now would be tough. Like,
I know. Yeah, I don't know if you.
I don't think I realized like how, because even then, after like people were like really upset.
People got.
I don't know why this made people mad.
I know.
But
you basically put out like,
we want to play.
We want to play. Like you guys, like y'all should believe in us, and people. I mean, obviously,
like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna stay away from each other.
I know.
We're gonna wear masks. Like I promise.
I promise.
Trust us.
But I mean, it was very sincere and very well, like always, put together. Big platform. People, it went crazy because like everybody was speaking, but that one kind of was the one that got pushed out. So then that kind of sparked some buzz, and then we like, all right, we're gonna meet together. And I write in my journal, I was like, all right, you had this movement, and I think we all need to say is that we want to play.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, so we get like 12 people on there. I don't remember the people on there. So obviously me, you, Najee Harris is on there, Chuba Hubbard, Justin Fields. Actually, I'm cool with him now. Javon Holland was on there, Kayvon Thibodeau, Panay Sewell. Then a couple guys that went to Stanford and Washington State. And I need to forget somebody else, but it's basically every kind of marquee player from each Power 5 conference.
Yeah, like every
Pac-12,
for sure.
Pac-12, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC, whatever. And so then we get on the call, and I remember all of us arguing. I do remember that. Like, everybody gets in there because everybody's kind of like like
everyone also like no one knew what was going on, so everybody kind of wanted to be like not like selfishly, but just wanted to
I know.
be like, this is what we're doing, and try like too many people were trying to lead it. So
it was everyone to be alpha.
And no one knows each other.
Nobody.
So it can't be like, all right, just trust like whether it's you or whoever, like just trust him. Like he can do it.
Yeah.
He's like a good dude. Everyone else is like, no, I'm gonna.
I know it was like 20 minutes of like no forward progress, and then I was like, all right. Everybody was come up with 5 things, and to this day I don't remember what they were, but basically we 6. We came up with 6 things. Like, hey, we all unify on this. And everybody wanted to do this. Some people wanted to do that. All right, here are 6 things we all can agree on. One of the guys in there was a graphic comm major, and he was like, all right, got it. So then he like writes some notes, sends it back to the group message. And it was actually a good little graphic. Like, it was very well put together. And it was like, here's the plan. We're going to post this at midnight Eastern, and let's see what happens. But we posted, and then it... But it was like midnight we rise. Midnight.
Midnight. No one's gonna see it till the next day.
Right.
We posted at midnight.
But midnight we posted and it went viral. And then I remember the AD called me, and then the next day, because Sweeney was like, "What happened last night?" He's always never on social media. Yeah. He's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Whatever it was, it changed." And that was a moment like, literally, it's kind of crazy now, but like, we look back and like we saved college football. Like, I'm like, 2020
season for sure. It would have been weird to have like imagine just like looking back at college football and there's just like gap. Like, there's just nothing happened. Like that one year, you're like, what happened this year? And you're like, well, let me tell you.
Let me tell you.
No,
but yeah, that was one of definitely a cool moment. Then the season, even though we didn't go out the way we wanted to, I feel like that was a memorable year because I feel like that was just the year was just crazy. So 2020, that's a story on that. Shout out to the House of Anderson's, the legendary house. Yeah, 142, the house that saved college football. I think one of the biggest things in college, people look back, pivotal year of time, but like I think you look back and it was a big year as you grow up as a man. I just think that like I look back and the people I did life with, like really like they say the people you do life with, if you want to know who you are, look at people you surround yourself with. And I think that was one of the things in college, like I look at Clemson, but even my Clemson experience, like being around like-minded people and having a good community, like really changed the trajectory of like all of our lives. And it was kind of cliche. Like we were both obviously trying to follow God, but then we were like, let's do a Bible study. And one of our mentors, Dan, shout out. We kind of like, hey, we want to do this Bible study. And you had the pad. Like I was living like I don't think I was living with somebody at the time, but you had a better house, and we could go over there and basically like, all right, we're gonna do a Bible study of our teammates and see what happens. And looking back and just seeing, especially now, a lot of those guys are getting married. We both got married. A lot of weddings. A lot of people attribute like that time of like just open up our house, open up space, and just being real, being authentic, and talking. Like it's a time where like, all right, that was a great part of college.
Yeah.
What do you remember about Rainbow Retreat?
Yeah, well,
also Rainbow Retreat just because he lived on.
Funny. It was on Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road.
Yeah, so context.
I know.
Well, because we did a Bible study before that.
Yeah,
it was just a few of us. I think it was like 6 or 7 of us, maybe more, but it was just a few of us. And we were like, and we loved it. Like, we had like our mentor that we meet with,
right?
And we like got a lot out of that, but we were like, I wish we had something to where, like the way we do it really wouldn't fit more guys. But I wish we, had a different place and format of where we could bring like as many guys that wanted to come from the team, and we just started inviting guys.
I know.
We planned it. Like, we'll come to my house. We'll hang out. Like sometimes we'll have food. We'll do it like every other week.
Yeah.
I think it was every other week, right?
It was every other week. And the food was only like, our mentor knew how to make this.
It's like the Rotel dip.
Like Rotel dip.
Yeah, I think everybody knows how to make it.
Yeah, everybody knows how to make Rotel dip.
But yeah, we would do like something like that. And then we had guys come. And I think it was just cool because obviously that was about like faith and, like trying to think of how to like sum it all up. But like obviously we made it a Bible study. We would pick a certain,
passage,
book or passage or verse, and we would just all talk about it. But not only it being about that, like obviously that's what it was centered around. That's what brought us all together. But like just having a space for people to talk and like really, talk about what they're going through or whatever it is. Like it was just an open space that we were able to create. And I think it's hard to do that because a lot of spaces you try to, and it just isn't that.
It isn't organic or feel authentic. And then also like as men, I feel like, especially playing football, everybody's trying to be like the guy. You know what I'm saying?
sure.
And people don't feel like they can let their guard down.
Because we had guys that just came in who were trying to prove themselves, or older guys, you know.
Right.
All the older guys usually were kind of like comfortable around each other, so that was different. But the younger guys, it was everyone mixed together. And it was just guys were able to talk about whatever, open up.
Yeah.
And it was like a safe space, especially for that many people. Like, it's not unique to have that in like a smaller group, but we had probably like 30 people at some
30,
points.
And one night, like 40 people was in there from the team.
So it's crazy. And obviously not everyone is like opening up and sharing, but just for people to be able to, but also to see other people do it and like really open up. They're still doing it now.
I know.
They're
literally, they changed the name. So. Now they changed streets. Now it's Strawberry Squad.
Yeah.
So shout out. It's little legacy, little dynasty there, but definitely was like a pivotal moment in my career. All right. Look, we're wrapping up for real, but I do want to bring on the first Leah Duval here for a second. She's coming on. She's been in the corner.
This is a big talker, so this could go a while.